Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. So I finished Ghost of Tsushima. The story is excellent in my opinion. If you're dreaming of playing the game, I would say if you have the resources, go ahead and get it. If you don't have a PlayStation and you think the game will be fun, why not spend, the money if you have it? If you don't have it, I'll say, just watch gameplay, live vicariously through those who have played it or who've beaten it and put the gameplay footage on YouTube, because you probably won't care about spoilers at this point if you don't want to make the investment on going to buy a PlayStation for it. But if you've ever thought about buying a PlayStation for Ghost of Tsushima, well, let me see if I can indulge you in some other games that might actually push that decision to happen much more faster or much more evidentially, just giving you more reason to go ahead and make the purchase. PlayStation has done a very good job in putting some really solid exclusives in the market. They've done a very amazing work from the time the console generation launched. They've been striving and even planning and working in the background to be able to bring an exclusive like this. This game was first teased in 2015. So think about that. The console generation kicked off in 2013. And even then, there were some exclusives on the floor. I think Killzone was one of the first few ones. And since then, we've had some others show up. We've had Uncharted show up. We've had Detroit show up. And then we started having some really heavy players. God of War. We had Horizon Zero Dawn. We had Spider-Man. And so if you think about all of this and you kind of map it out together, then there's kind of a case, if you haven't played any of these games and you're actually interested in maybe even 70% of them, that a PlayStation 4 might be a good purchase for you. Now, the reason I'm not even talking PS5, I know many people might say, well, why not just wait for a PS5? Ghost of Tsushima is going to be on there. Well, PS5 is probably going to be hitting on the $500, $600 mark. If you're a PC gamer, $500 or $600, nah, man, you're not going to want to spend that on a console. PC gamers are very difficult to convince to go buy a console. It's like pulling teeth from somebody that has a healthy set. You know what I mean? It's very challenging for somebody to justify that because, you have your rig. If you have $500, there are probably upgrades that you want to do on your rig. You know what I mean? Like maybe you want to get a faster hard drive. There's even a possibility of PlayStation even coming to start to push a little bit to this area. Think about it. Death Stranding is from Kojima. Nobody even thought Death Stranding was going to come to PC, but guess what? They said, hey, it's going to come to PC. So these are some things that many PC gamers get to enjoy sometimes because, they'll just bring a game to PC. Horizon Zero Dawn comes out in August on PC. I was playing it on the PlayStation, but when I heard it was coming on PC, I just stopped because I really want to enjoy that open world and all those graphics in August when it actually is released. So you will bet that, hopefully I'll be getting it in, on release on PC, and I'll be happy to play through it because the game, even on PlayStation, looks pretty good. And I think it'll look phenomenal if they optimize it well for the PC because visuals are very good. Smooth gameplay is very, very, convenient, if you get what I mean. Addicting is the word I wanted to use. But when you play on PC and you enjoy some really good flow of gameplay, man, it's very challenging to come appreciate a console game. And so for the past few days, making these Ghost of Tsushima videos, talking about how the game is well done and well structured, you would have to have put a lot of work into the game for me to be able to say, yes, this game challenges even other games that are its predecessor, even though I've played them on PC like Assassin's Creed. Ghost of Tsushima basically backhands Assassin's Creed games because of the way they've done it and the way they structured the game and all the other things that were put into the game. Even though the game is somewhat dated in its development, but hey, it was teased in 2015, so perhaps even a 2014 development window is not out of the question. But I think Sony has done a very cool job in mapping down this generation and finally tying it to the end with Ghost of Tsushima. It did a good job. Its story, I made a video about it, talking about its story all the way through Act 2, and even in Act 3, you get a very perfect loop where you come back and you circle around to finish what you started. And even within the story, something takes place in the middle and you resolve that at the end. It's your final end game and you're given the opportunity to resolve it with a reasonable ending. One thing about writing a story is your story has to be convincing. The failure of The Last of Us 2 in its story was the story was not really convincing to many people. There was a lot of senselessness in that story. I'm going to go ahead and break it to you. What your protagonist ends up doing is your protagonist ends up killing all these people to find somebody for a revenge, a revenge action. And then at the end, doesn't end up killing the person. So all the violence was basically senseless. Whereas in Ghost of Tsushima, your character, and I'm going to spoil this for you, breaks his code in order to achieve an aim, and at the end of the day achieves that aim, and even still is willing to sacrifice everything and says it over and over again. If I were to do this over again, I'll do this. They're resolved and they're certain that what they're doing is the right thing. And when they get to the end, they even make they make a reasonable choice and don't just, and the developers give you the option to be senseless or reasonable at the end. I don't want to spoil that part for you guys. You actually have the option to actually make whatever decision you feel you want to make as a player, but many people, I feel, are going to choose a sensible way to go, because that's how you do story writing. You make it convincing and you do some fan service. So I'm just going to say that as a game, as a story, as progression goes, this game really does deserve to be the final game in the console generation. Thankfully, The Last of Us 2 did not get that opportunity because the story did not do fan service. For those of you who don't know, I like story writing. I wrote a book. It's a fiction book. It's on Amazon. I can put a link for you guys if you're interested. If you're not, that's fine. But it's something that I really enjoy doing. I'm even working on the sequel right now. I kind of stalled because, everything going on. I kind of put it aside. I shelved it just to see if the first book even makes a lot of sense to readers and a general audience first. And I'm going to be taking critique. If anything, I even go back and rewrite the book and, create a revised edition of it and, have it, available for readers. Because one fun thing about writing is you're not writing for yourself. You're writing for an audience, and that's what I think The Last of Us writers failed to realize, and what Ghost of Tsushima's writers actually did understand. You're writing for your audience, and so that's pretty much what I will commend the writers on this story for, and even commend Sony, even though they're a big corporation that many of us aren't really fans of, but still though, we have to commend when good work is put to the table. So hopefully I'll see you guys in another video. My plan is to continue bringing out a few more tips after this commentary, and maybe we'll talk about some extra stuff that you can get. I'll go ahead and start doing some side missions. I was doing some of the side missions before, and then I kind of got locked into the story and just beat the story. But now there are so many cool things and cool tales and cool side objectives that will take me basically months and months to complete. And I'll be happy to just, take my time and chew through them. Anyways, that's it for me. I appreciate you guys this time and audience. Hopefully we'll see in another video. Peace.